here's how to save or export a DXF file out of NX. So many times we save DXF files for our fabrication and water jet departments. Here we have a very basic, simple sheet metal part. This part needs to go to the water jet to be cut out. The water jet reads .dxf files. So what we have to do here is save or export a DXF file for the water jet machine to read and cut to. You'll notice that in my modeling tree, all I have is one solid body. No lines, no points, just one solid body. So what we're going to do is first, you can right click out in the window and say fit just to get your whole part there. Then, once again, right click out in that open window. Let's go ahead and orient the view to be front and view to make sure that it looks like it is flat. It does, so we'll go ahead and right click, orient our view, look at it from the right side. As well, make sure it looks flat. If the part were like this, you would have to then figure out what that angle is and snap it back flat. To do so, you would go to Move Object, and you would select your part, and you would rotate or use potentially the angle function or align axis to vector to get it straightened out to your top view. In our instance, we're already snapped flat and straight to our top view, so we don't need to do this. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll just right click and orient our view to the top so we can see it. Right click and fit. There it is in the window, fitted into our top view. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is say File, Export, and then you're going to see a function right here that says AutoCAD DXF/DWG. We'll go ahead and select that. Then we get our export function dialog box. Here, we will just have to set some settings. Load settings, we don't need to worry about that. That's just a standard function from NX. Input and output. To do a DXF file, we want to export from our displayed part, which is this. We want to export it to a DXF file as 2D lines, and here is going to be the file path that we're going to export the file to. So we'll go ahead and browse out. We'll go to our training folder, and then what we're going to do is select the folder where we want to save this, and we'll call this just sample part test. And then we'll go ahead and make sure right here that this is a .dxf. Say OK. Now you can see that this file path is where we just set it to. Then we're going to go to the data to export line. Select that. Change this to be selected objects. And then just select the one feature that you want to export as the DXF, or multiples if there were a couple of these on the screen. Sometimes you may nest parts together to get them in one sheet of material. So we're going to go ahead and select this model, and then we're going to export this from a selected view, which is going to be our top view. Remember, I said it needs to be snapped flat and straight to your top view. In theory, it could be snapped flat and straight to any of these, but top is just the easiest for me to remember to do, so I always go to the top view. I'm going to go ahead and select top, say OK. Then we're going to go to our options here. This you want to make sure it's set to 2004 and 2D polyline. That is what a flow water jet machine uses to read DXF files. So make sure that's 2004, 2D polyline, and that is it. You are done. You do not need to worry about anything else. You can come here and say finish, and then it'll pop this up because I had this open and I hadn't saved it yet, but we can go ahead and just say continue, not worry about the saving, and we've continued. So now there is a DXF file created. So if I come here to our how-to folder, our training folder, you'll see right here, we now have a sample part test.dxf. If I go back to NX, I can say File and New, I'm just gonna go ahead and say okay. Get rid of this origin because I don't need it. And then I'm going to say File, Import, DXF. And then I'm gonna go ahead and browse out, find my sample part, test DXF, say okay, and then say finish. And now there is our 2D line imported DXF file that the water jet machine will use to trace and cut our part out of.